Well, guys, after the recent closure of three more long standing studios by Warner Brothers Game Division, and then seeing the supposed outcry from certain gaming YouTube channels, Mr. Matty Plays, looking right at you, buddy, with their almost seemingly genuine swear filled rant of anger about the situation, a thought quickly occurred to me. You see, I've sat here watching for a while in mostly silent astonishment ever since that god awful reboot of Saints Row, causing the entirety of Team Volition to be shut down for good. I said nothing. Then I watched it happen again, with the gay slop made to appeal to only the most retarded of casual gamers, sporting their blue hair, nose rings, and preferred pronouns, with Dragon Age the Veilguard, resulting in the permanent closure of the BioWare division who barfed that shit out. Again, I said nothing. I watched Rocksteady be bombasted with their out of character decision to make a live service game that flopped as it was unexpected and apparently unwanted by anyone at all. I said nothing. Then I watched Sony decide to incinerate nearly $500 million into a live service, gay as fuck, basic, boring hero shooter in Concord, whose character designs were as uninspiring and ugly as any particular host of The View, only to lead to the entire studio to be shut down forever and the game being pulled from existence in less than 2 weeks. That's after 8 years spent in development. And again, I said nothing. We then move on to the gay liberal power fantasy title that is Dustborn, who I actually did finally say something. However, I spoke out in its defense, surprisingly, as well as heavily mocking that abomination, which you are more than welcome to and able to watch my take on that in my Dustborn is Not the Enemy video. If you're curious as to why or haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend that you do. But moving on to now with Monolith Studios closing, along with two other studios under the Warner Brothers hat, and proceeded to watch several prominent YouTubers feign outrage, disapproval, and confusion over this latest catastrophe in the gaming cosmic landscape. And now I can't remain silent. I have to say something before my fucking head explodes from the obvious that's staring everyone right in the face, but everyone seems to have blinders on, unable to see it, in the exact same way that everyone was unable to see that Joe Biden was as cognitively competent as a rotting carrot stick buried in a pile of cow shit. You see, it's funny to me when these studios become shut down, and then all of a sudden these YouTubers and gaming journos are quick to throw their hostilities towards the ones who did the firing. Yet they lack the insight to look in the fucking mirror and place the blame exactly where it needs to be. So, what am I insinuating here? Well, I'm not insinuating shit. I'm stating the fucking fact that this is your fault and nobody else's. It is your collective faults for being industry driven cowards too afraid to call out this woke declination in Western gaming as it happened in real time. It's also your fault for prioritizing your stance within the gaming industry, like when it comes to getting review codes and access, and making sure that you didn't cross that line that's too far in order to keep your shiny fucking badges of approval. It's your fault for not talking about the bigger issues in these failed titles and instead tap dancing around the blatant red flags of LGBT forced inclusion, anti straight vilification of white protagonists, and the uglification of women in gaming. It's the fault of industry shills like IGN and Spawnwave giving generic shit like Veilguard a 9 out of 10, championing on the delusion that slop propaganda is not only acceptable in gaming, but even exceptional. You know how you avoid watching supposed beloved studios being shut down? You be fucking truthful. You don't act like a little coward who's scared of the woke minded cancel culture for wrongthink. Because if you actually cared about these studios, you would have set the record straight way back with Saints Row Reboot, and it would have just ended with Volition. But no, you allowed it to continue. You valued your acceptance and access and popularity over basic truth and common sense. You misled and lied to your viewers as you continue to do even fucking now with this fake sense of confusion and outrage as to why is everything just seemingly to keep failing. I can help clear up that confusion for you. Everything keeps failing because it fucking sucks. And IGN giving every piece of shit under the sun a 7 or a 9 out of a 10 isn't going to magically just change the fact that people are fucking done with this subpar, understimulating, preachy, propagandizing, non-immersive fucking bullshit. It's the same reason gaming keeps failing. The same reason why Trump is back in office. People are sick and fucking tired of radical leftists and their nonsensical, out of touch bullshit. The main problem is that these people live in such a sheltered bubble that they haven't taken the time to look around and read the fucking room. But the bigger problem here is you, the YouTubers and the gaming journos who have their attention but are too afraid of losing that access with them to tell these people the hard, cold truth. That the slop they continue making just isn't good. That the world around them has embraced the offensive nature of reality over the coddle to every broken brain delusional freak in order to not hurt their feelings way of life. Like, here's some basic truth. Men like titties. Men also can't be women. There are only two genders, and you don't get to choose which one you are. The same as you don't get to either choose your species or race. And most importantly, sometimes in order to fix a downward spiral of self-destructive behavior, you have to risk offending someone's ego. Otherwise, you're just condoning and effectively contributing to the further self-induced suicide of the entire Western gaming industry. So unless you're going to actually start to grow some balls and start telling the truth to your audience, to start calling out these games when you see red flags and the shit that they're shoveling out onto us, and not just overlook it because you feel it might offend someone or you are worried about the backlash you might get from a very vocal but minority of people who in the ultimate cosmic events of shit don't even fucking matter. You need to have integrity over popularity. You can't please everyone all the time. So why even bother? Just be true to yourself and true to your audience. A lot of these established YouTubers have audiences that are diehard ride or die. They listen to every word you say. And when you purposely overstep the problems that you see in the games that are coming out so that you don't get a woke cancel mob on your back because you're too afraid to even go there, then just stop what you're doing because you're not being genuine or authentic to them. A dark storm is brewing. It's gonna come. I can feel the collapse of Western gaming coming upon us, and it's gonna happen a lot sooner than a lot of you think. And it's mainly due to the fault of these YouTubers and these game journalists who have no integrity left, who purposely obfuscate the problems and only highlight the things that they like while not discussing at all the things that they know aren't going to resonate well with the consumers of the product. And that's a big problem. It's just disingenuous. And I don't like that shit. I've always said I will be authentic as fuck. I am me. I will never push an opinion out for access. I will never obfuscate the truths of what I see going on. And I'm one of a very, very small group of individuals who actually have the courage to say it like it really is, to call out the shit that I see, to go up against much larger channels than me and call them out for their bullshit. I'm looking at Angry Joe. I'm looking at Mr. Matty Plays. I'm looking at IGN. I'm looking at Spawnwave. I'm looking at so many of you long time, huge name individual channels that just bullshit your audience or coddle to a certain agenda and propaganda machine that keeps infesting our games and making them fail. And if any of you had the testicular fortitude, in other words, the balls, to say, hey, I don't think this is going to resonate well with people. I do understand in your very small circle, this kind of dumb shit might be popular. But for a wide audience, like, most people don't like this shit. Read the room. Like, keep this shit out of your games. Make good games. You're entitled to your politics, whatever they may be. But when you're taking a beloved IP and you're changing it to fit your own personal agenda and your own personal narrative and politics, like, that doesn't work. People aren't going to like that shit. Don't give them a fucking 9 out of 10 and act like just because you gave that score that, hey, you know what? They're going to sell great. We gave them a high score. No, now you lost all integrity and people are done listening to your bullshit. They're just tuning out. They're sick of it. I've had enough. I know that other people have just had a fuck enough. Your word means nothing at this point. I don't know. Anyways, that's all I've got. Make sure to hit subscribe and like the video if you agree, and drop a comment. Share your thoughts on this topic. I don't know what to say. Anyway, until next time, have fun, stay savage, keep gaming. I'm out.